Yankton. Well, we are continuing our coverage and previews for South Dakota State softball. And just a reminder, we'll be covering teams from Alcester-Hudson, Avon, Bon Homme, Elk Point Jefferson, Gayville-Vollen. That'll all be on 5-star streaming on YouTube. And then we'll also be covering my Vermilion Tanagers on Vermilion Tanagers on YouTube. Zach Spear and I will be in Aberdeen from Thursday through Saturday. So if one of our teams plays, we'll be broadcasting it. And as part of that coverage, we are interviewing some of the coaches and athletes from these teams. And from Bon Homme, I have senior Taryn Kreitz. Taryn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
And I should have asked before I even said it. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank God. All right. Excellent. So, before we start, I don't believe you and I have had the chance to talk before. Just take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you, your family, your interests, hobbies, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. So right now, I just graduated high school from Bon Homme. I plan to go to Mount Murray to play softball, actually. So I'm excited for that. One of my hobbies is I really like to bake. One of my things is I always homemade bake, and for, tournaments and stuff, I'll always, bake things for the team, and they just love it.
So you're going to be baking for the state tournament then?
Oh, yeah.
All right. What's your go-to?
Definitely the chocolate chip cookies I make.
All right. And chocolate chip cookies, obviously that's a framework, but, no two are alike. You get some that are just these soft bakes, some that are kind of crispy all the way through, some that you get the crispy edges, and then when you pop them, crack them open in the middle, they're soft. How do you like yours? How do you work yours?
Well, actually, I got the recipe from my grandfather. He actually passed away, so since he's passed, I now make them for my family. And they're a little bit harder, but the taste of them is phenomenal.
All right. Now, are you just a straight cookie eater, or do you like them with milk?
Definitely with milk.
I know. That's perfect. Now, and even that is not, some people eat and then drink. Some people dunk. Some people like to crush them up, and then you get the stuff at the bottom that's all cookie that's soaked up the milk. How do you like yours?
I definitely dip mine.
All right. See, we're going to get along really well. We're simpatico here so far. So excellent. Oh, what about your family? Parents, siblings?
Yeah. So my parents are Mike and Christy Hauk. Our last name's kind of not known here, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah.
Now, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. I have 2 older brothers and 1 sister. They're all older, so I'm the little baby of the family.
All right. Now, were they athletes as well, or are you an anomaly?
My brothers weren't. My sister was.
Okay, excellent. Now, are they still in the area? Do you get to see them, or are they moved away?
My brothers both live in Nebraska, but my sister actually lives in Yankton. So.
Oh, okay, excellent. All right. Now, Bon Homme softball, state softball. Obviously, I don't think I'm telling you something you don't know. You guys didn't make it last year, right?
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Yeah, and probably what was a surprise because, I remember, and I think, so I take the blame because I remember when we're talking about teams that we're going to cover, I'm like, well, Bon Homme's going to make it, so, we'll make sure to cover them. And then all of a sudden I'm covering Vermilion Tanagers, I'm broadcasting theirs, and I'm watching you guys on Game Changer, and I'm like, all right, no. So I take full responsibility. I apologize. I did not make any claims like that this year. And you guys won. How nice is it to be getting back to that state tournament?
Yeah, so this year we put in a lot of work. We were kind of devastated that we lost last year. So I really think this year kind of was like a bounce back year and like a redemption year kind of. So when we went into the Sweet 16 game, we weren't our attitudes were all steady. I can't think of the word, but we were level-headed. That's what it was. So we didn't go into the game saying we were going to win. Unfortunately last year we kind of we went into the game saying oh yeah, we got this. And then unfortunately we ended up losing. So this year we bounced back and I thought we did pretty good.
Oh yeah. You guys had a really nice season, but started off 1-3. Now, qualify that those 3 losses were all to teams that are in the state tournament, two of them are top seeds, one in Class A, one in Class B, and the other one's Alcester Hudson, who's like third or fourth seed. So not a single bad loss in there. But when you see your records 1-3 a week and a half into the season, what were the thoughts going through your guys' heads?
Well, at the beginning of the season, we kind of knew we were going to struggle a little bit because we were trying to piece everything together again. And we knew we were going to face those good teams. At that Beersburg tournament, we faced two pretty good teams. And we knew Alcester was going to be a tough game too. But as soon as, we played them, we knew what our strengths and our weaknesses were. And I felt like the games that followed, we all put the pieces together.
All right. Well, and that has led to this, where you guys seem to be playing your best softball right now. I had a chance to talk to Kennedy Kozak earlier, and obviously the pitcher, one of those, a lot of the focus goes on the pitcher, but sometimes I think it's too much because obviously they rely on the defense, whether it's ground balls, fly balls. They rely on the offense because you can only pitch so many shutouts.
Yeah.
As a Minnesota Twins fan, I'm realizing, your offense needs to produce more than one run. So, what do you view your role as on this team? What position do you like to play the most? And as one of the seniors on the squad, how do you view yourself?
Yeah, so I play outfield. I've played outfield ever since I was little, so I would say I'm pretty good at it. Kennedy does a great job, and when the hitters do get a hold of her balls, I feel like the defense we all work together as a team, especially the outfield. We kind of pulled some sophomores into our outfield too, since a lot of the seniors are leaving. We have 5 seniors this year. So Bailey, our head coach, she's trying to piece everything together for the following years to come. I'd say me as a senior, I'm excited to see where this team goes. I'm sad to leave, but I'll always support them. Usually, I always hype them up before each game because that's kind of my job. I always tell them to go into the game, level-headed. You can't go into a game saying, no confidence or anything. You always have to have confidence in the game. And, yeah.
All right. And now that you guys have made it to the SODAC 16 and you're getting this chance, obviously high school is done. You've graduated. Classes are done. Your classmates that are, not in track or golf or softball have all been done now for a while. What are the emotions that you're feeling as you go to this state tournament, knowing these are your final activities as a Homme Cavalier?
Yeah. It hasn't really hit me that I graduated yet. It probably won't until I end up going to college. But going into this last tournament with these guys I'm going to be probably really emotional, especially when we play our last game. I played with these guys since 12 and under. That's why we have such a put-together team, I would say. And just leaving them is going to be really sad.
But how exciting is it to know you have these final 3 games? And that's one of the things I like about this tournament is that you're guaranteed 3 games. Is that kind of nice?
Yeah, right. So I'm very excited. Our first game we play on Thursday. I'm going to be hyping everyone up because you got to leave everything out on the field.
Well, and
especially our last game is going to be one that I'm going to say you need to leave everything out on the field.
Well, and I think that's exactly right. And, obviously you have these 3 games left. As you look back on your career, you're part of the team that started high school softball. You were part of that first squad, 2 years ago. That was the very first part of South Dakota sanctioned state softball. So you're part of history. And as you look back, what's your favorite memory from softball?
I would say my favorite memory from softball is just playing with all the girls and creating memories that I can hopefully remember when I'm older.
All right. And as you look forward, what are your plans for this summer?
Yeah, so after this weekend, actually, I go right into my travel team. So we have a tournament next weekend. So I'll be playing travel softball this summer.
All right. Now, will any of your teammates, are any of them part of that team, or is that a different group?
Nope, it's just I play for Yankton, the travel team.
Okay.
Just me.
All right. Excellent. All
Yep.
right. And then you said you are going to Mount Marty in the fall?
Yes, I'm going to Mount Marty to play softball. So.
All right. And then what are you hoping to study?
Nursing.
Nursing. All right. What got you into that?
So when I was little, I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, so I was always in the hospital and everything. So I was always interacting with, like, doctors and nurses, and now that I've gotten older, I would say, like, they saved my life. So, like, I kind of want to give back to, like, my little girl self as being a nurse so I can help other children with diseases that pop up in their life.
All right. Well, excellent. Well, I tell you what, before I let you go, Taryn, just a couple of questions for you. Obviously, we've talked about the memories, and we've talked about what you're doing moving forward. But as you go through life, and this can have multiple answers, but who is someone or are some people that you hold up as examples and say, if I can live my life like her or him, I'm going to consider myself a success?
Yeah. Are you talking about, like, celebrities or, like,
it can be
anyone?
It can be celebrities. It can be somebody in your household. It can be a teacher, whoever that might be for you on whatever level. Any of those fit the bill.
It would probably be a softball player.
Any particular ones or?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to be talking about one of the coaches for Oklahoma, Patty Gasso.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So who would that be?
She is the head softball coach for Oklahoma. Her mentality going into each game, every time I watch her, I'm just, like, amazed by her and how she coaches. She's been with Oklahoma for a while. She's changed a lot of lives, and I just feel like I want to do that as well when I get older.
Okay, excellent. All right, and so that's who you kind of do as your motto, and you kind of follow that lead. So I like that. So as you prepare for these final games, what would you like your legacy to be? As somebody that looks back and 20 years from now when your name gets brought up, what would you hope people would say?
So one of the mottos that I always go by for, like, each game, it doesn't matter if it's softball or, like, anything, my motto is always be great. And I also say the sky's the limit, because it is. You only live one life, and I just feel like you need to make the most of it. You need to make the most of the memories that you have, and I feel like going into this tournament this weekend, I'm definitely going to be making a lot of memories.
All right. Well, I like that, and I think that is a great way to close. Taryn, as you get ready for the state tournament, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to getting to cover you guys. And as you prepare for this tournament, if you guys play to your ability, so this isn't bulletin board material, this is just if you guys play the way you know you can, is there anything to stop you from winning a championship?
I would say no.
All right. I like that. And if anybody's listening, that's obviously we prefaced it. So it's not like you're not doing the Joe Namath guaranteeing a win or anything. We're just saying you guys have a really good shot. Now, Class B is wide open this year. A lot of great teams, but I think you guys have as good a shot as any. So excited to see what you guys can do. Glad you guys are up there this year. And best of luck with everything in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. You have yourself a great day.
Yes, you as well.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yep.
That was Taryn Kreitz with the Homme Cavaliers as they get ready for the state softball tournament. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Zach Spear and I will be up there. I'll be covering the Vermilion Tanagers and Elk Point Jefferson Huskies on Class A. Zach Spear will be taking the lead with Class B, and then I'll be helping. We'll be covering that. So you'll be hearing us both on 5-star streaming for Elk Point Jefferson, Alcester Hudson, Avon, Gayville Vollen, and Bon Homme. Those will all be on 5-star streaming on YouTube. So make sure to go subscribe, click that bell button so you'll be notified when we go live. All right. You guys have a great day. We'll be back with more. This is At the Mic with Michael Schumacher, brought to you by JR's Oasis. More than a fuel station, more than a convenience store. It's your one-stop travel shop on ESPN Radio.